check it. How y'all doing? See, I'm playing Luminous. Or Lumines. I think, why do you call it Luminous? Lumines. Let me check. Let me see if I can turn this down a little. Even though the main tracking to this game is and gameplay. My bad. I got so much going Give me 1 second. I've got a lot of hopefully I'll turn my notifications down. I haven't played this game in a while, but not that should be better. Nintendo Gamer, what's going on, man? How you doing? One more time. Okay, that's good. Alright, so we'll do challenge mode just to get it out of the way. Basic. Yeah, so this is real quick. I'm just gonna dabble on a couple topics right here because there was a big article that came out from Jason Schreier, who in my opinion is the best journalist in gaming today. Not even close. Right? People can bitch about how he conducts himself on Twitter, but when it comes to information, actual information, not cookie cutter puff pieces. Like when it comes to information, he gets his shit in, right? So, like I said, I have a lot of respect for him. Obviously, I don't agree with everything he says, but as a journalist, I respect him greatly for it because it's the level of transparency that we don't get from these gaming companies, right? And he provides the information that we need, right? As gamers and as consumers. So yeah. So before I get into the article that he made, let me address the situation when it came to Sony, Gamepass, MLB, all that stuff that I made a video about a couple days ago, right? Now, as I think most of us kind of predicted, it was MLB decision, the baseball league. It was their decision to put the game on Game Pass, and more than likely it was just to drum up interest and excitement for Xbox users to try the game out, right? So, okay, so you have the clarification, which I'm happy about, because that was one of my main issues, that we didn't get really much of a clarification on what was going on. I want to repeat myself again. I don't have an issue with the game going on Xbox, right? Like I made that clear. Like I said, in order for the show to survive, if it had to go on Xbox, then I'm fine with it. Because at the end of the day, I care about the franchise and not, it being exclusive, even though I do value exclusivity. And I think part of the reason why I was so irritated by the situation, in hindsight, was because I just feel like at the end of the day, we're not, like, these companies are not acting like competitors anymore, right? We're all in, and a lot of this is frankly, it's Phil Spencer's fault and Microsoft's fault. You know, they're all in on this kumbaya bullshit that I'm not in favor of. Like, it's one thing to be kumbaya when it comes to toxicity, when it comes to gaming discourse. Like, I'm all in on that. But when it comes to like pure competition, when it comes to like, selling and, presenting your product, I'm about being cutthroat for the most part. I'm about being cutthroat. I love um the advertisements of, obviously the Sega dealt with Nintendo. Like, I love that shit. Like, I grew up on that. Like, the whole, Crash invading Nintendo's headquarters. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of stuff. That's the type of competition that I like in my gaming companies. And yes, I am. I'm older now. Like, I'm 35 years old. Like I said, I'm an old man. Right? I am now an old man, especially in this gaming shit. I'm an old man. So maybe part of it is just me not getting in with the times. But me personally, like, I just feel like as a competitor, you have to put your best foot forward. And, even though I understand why the whole Game Pass thing happened, I still don't feel like Sony's put their best foot forward, right? And, God, shit loud. Yeah, so, like, I just feel like, especially in that situation, they didn't put their best foot forward. Like I said, I'm someone who normally likes to be, objective. I'm someone who likes to, be a calming voice in the sea of fake outrage, right? And not every, and like you said, you can only be so objective before something happens that triggers you. And I'm not gonna lie, the situation with MLB TheShow and it going to Game Pass triggered me. I ain't gonna lie about that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. At the end of the day, am I going to boycott the game? More than likely no. And to be frank, I probably wasn't going to boycott the game, even if I said I did, because like I said, I really want to play MLB TheShow 20. I would prefer to play it on a next generation console, and I would prefer to play it on a PS5. But am I still interested in getting a PS5? That's something that we can discuss right now when it comes to this article by Jason Schreier, right? Now, since I'm playing this, I can't get the article out there, but I did read the whole thing, and I want to make one thing clear, right? Situations where a team doesn't get a project off the ground for whatever reason, if the company just doesn't see the value in don't see the value in maybe a series getting off the ground, that I think that happens a lot more than we want to acknowledge, right? So this whole thing with this guy, I forgot the guy's name, but he started a small group to make games at Sony. I think originally they wanted to make a remake in order to kind of show Sony that, hey, we can do this and improve ourselves. Ultimately, I think the idea was for them to make a Last of Us remake, which I don't know why that's the thing. Not to say that the game is bad, nothing like that. I'm almost done with the game. But it's a great game. But like, I don't think we need a remake right now. Like, and and I don't know if the project is I don't know. No, I know he's not there anymore. Like I said, I don't remember the guy's name. I can't look at it right now because I'm kind of like stuck playing this game. But like I said, that type of stuff I think happens a lot more than we would. I think that happens a lot more than we would like to acknowledge, right? Now, the other thing that I think a lot of people took from the article was the whole situation with Sony Bend. Now, they made a game. What's the game called? Days Gone, right? A game I like legitimately I have no interest in, right? I've never played it. Don't have a desire to play it. this is not my thing. But they were denied an opportunity to make a sequel. And I think that part of the reason why it was because the game, while I think the game sold well enough, I think the game wasn't a critical success the way that I think Sony wanted it to be. And I think they're working on something. I think they are working on something new. I think. Like I said, I read the article, but like I said, I wasn't really thorough about it, and I could look it through, but like I said, I'm kind of in game mode right now, so I'm not gonna look back at it. But there was also talk about how they were being used as kind of like a group to help Naughty Dog make the remake. Like I said, I don't understand why we need a Last of Us remake. I really don't. Like, and people can say what they want about, well, there's the series coming out, and look. Let me also make this one thing very clear right now. I don't give a flying fuck about anything Sony does outside of their games. I don't give a shit about the TV shows. I don't give a shit about the movies. I don't give a shit about their TVs. Shit, I fucked up. I don't give a shit about the TVs. I don't give a shit about VR. Like a lot of the stuff, like like I said, like in the past I've been accused as a Sony fanboy. If anything, I would have been more, more so deemed a PlayStation fanboy. Because like I said, outside of PlayStation, I don't give a shit about Sony. You know what I mean? Like I don't care. Like I just care about the games. And I think part of the problem that I think a lot of people are having right now is that we're not hearing anything from them. Like every news that comes out comes off as bad news. Like the Japanese thing that I mentioned in my MLB video, right? Apparently, and I saw this from Twitter, so I don't, so like I said, I don't think someone would put that information out there unless they knew what it was. You know what I mean? They said that the reason why Sony had to restructure the studios in Japan was because I think only certain small businesses in Japan were getting, I think they were getting COVID benefits. I think that's what he said, and I guess a lot of the studios that Sony were working with are not technically considered small studios. So I think that's why the restructuring happened. Now, I don't think that excuses some of the actions that they've done in the past. Like I don't like the fact that we're probably never gonna see a Gravity Rush or something, or Gravity Rush type game from Sony, because at the end of the day, like even though like I don't care about Gravity Rush, that's a play. You look at that game and that game screams PlayStation, and when you're a company that, and I get it's a business, but if you're prioritizing the business end, and you're telling me that games are not a priority, and the only games that are a priority for you is the big budget games, like I'm not down for that. I'm just not down for that. And listen, I love Sony's big budget PlayStation games. I personally, they're the only company that makes those games the right way, by and large, right? And I know it's a bit controversial because I know there's a lot of people who like what's the people who make The Witcher? CD Projekt Red. But after the fucking disaster of Cyberpunk, that knocked them down a peg, right? EA don't make those fucking games as well as good as Sony. Like no one does. So I'm not against them putting the vast majority of their focus on God of War or The Last of Us or Uncharted or whatever big budget game that they make. But I don't like the idea that those are the only games that Jesus fucking Christ. I don't like the idea that those are the only games that can be successful, right? Like I hate that notion, right? I hate that notion. Like, people always argue, well, it has to be like I don't like the idea that a game has to be Roblox in order to be successful. That a game has to be Call of Duty in order to be successful. That a game has to be fucking what other game, like Fortnite to be successful, Rocket League to be successful. Like, I don't like the idea that the game has to be a global phenomenon for us to get these games. I think that mindset is so counterintuitive to what gaming's about. And yes, I get it's a business. I get that people make, I know that that video games is a big business. I get the fact that if a game doesn't succeed, that a company could go bankrupt and falter and shit like that. I get that, but at the end of the day, taking risk is what, in my opinion, is what makes gaming great. What makes gaming great, not only from a standpoint of creating the games, but also when it comes to actually gaming. Taking risk is part of what gaming is. It's part of the gaming culture. At least when I grew up, that was part of the gaming culture. Like, you would go to West Coast or Blockbuster back in the day, and you had to go off of whether a game is good or not, just based on just picking up the fucking game if they had it. You know what I mean? If they had like a cool cover, like back in the day, I almost rented WCW Super Brawl, right? It's a Super Nintendo wrestling game, right? Now I ended up not renting the game, but I played that game years later. That game is absolute dog shit. But shit, if it was back in the day, I would be stuck with that game for the weekend. You know what I mean? Like taking risk is part of what gaming is all about. And it was part of my main issue with what happened with Microsoft this generation, was that they were so behind the eight ball when it came to like some of their key games, right? When some of their, like, the more of their the games that weren't Halo, Forza, Gears, or whatever, right? And like, you look at games like Sunset Overdrive, right? We're probably never gonna, well, at least Microsoft had an opportunity to make a sequel, but for whatever reason they just didn't want to do a sequel. You know what I mean? Like, you look at games like Quantum Break. Are we ever gonna see another Quantum Break ever again? Even, I mean, I don't give a shit about the game, but I don't like this idea that a game has to be a mega hit in order for it to get a sequel. And that's what I'm gathering from some of these reports from Jason Schreier. You know what I mean? Like, and to me, like, I don't like that mindset. I don't like that mindset. And look, some games are destined not to have a sequel, right? Like, it happens. It's part of capitalism, basically. Sometimes things are not going to succeed, right? But I don't like the idea that a company wants to do a sequel and they're not getting the green light for it because it wasn't critically successful. Now, based on what I can tell from people who play the game and some of the stuff that they've added, they've done a lot to that game. So if I'm Sony, why wouldn't I want to see them improve on that, right? Like, oh my god, like, I don't see why if you're why wouldn't you want to see them do better? You know what I mean? Like, if that mindset was there from Sony from the beginning of the PS3 era, we would have never gotten to Uncharted 2. We probably would have never gotten to God of War 2. You know what I mean? Like, it just, to me, that mindset is just so counterintuitive to me, at least in my opinion. And look, I'm not a businessman, right? Like, I'm not part of the company. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm just a guy. But to me, I just don't like this idea where games have to be a hit in order for it to be, in order for Sony to invest in it, in them, right? And another thing that I want to say is that, yes, I do see some of the PlayStation guys, I wouldn't say necessarily damage control, but they're bringing up the fact that, you still have, you have Kenna, you still have, some of these other games that are coming out that are smaller budgeted games. And yes, you are right, but you cannot hide the fact, and I mentioned this in the MLB video, you cannot hide the fact that when it comes to indie support, they are severely lagging behind the other two. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact, right? You hear, that like indie devs mentioning it, like where Sony, like the whole like Vita store closing situation, right? Like the fact that you have studios that didn't know that the store was closing, and Vita being primarily a digital platform now, like that's a bad look. I don't give a shit what. I don't care if you play on Vita, don't play on Vita, you think the Vita's trash or whatever. Those developers deserve better than that. So much better than that. And the fact that you have studios who had no idea that the store is closing, the digital store is closing, that's bullshit. That's complete bullshit. You think that I'm supposed to look at that and still be okay with how Sony relationship with indie devs are? Like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's inexcusable, right? Like with the whole Japanese thing, maybe I might have to take that back a little bit, but when it comes to indie support, yeah, I'm definitely worried about that, because like I said, there are definitely certain indies that I feel are some of my favorite games of all time, right? And yeah, they're not big budgeted AAA games, but I don't give a shit about that. Like I play great games, right? That's my thing. I play great games. I don't play bad games. I play great games. And I just hope that some of the stuff that's going on at Sony gets better. Like I said, do I think it's doom and gloom at the end of the day? Like I try not to go down that path, because like I said, like we don't know what's going on over there. We really don't. None of us do. Give me 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Let's go. Alright, where was I? Oh shit. I'm about to lose. That's what I'm about to do. Okay. Alright, at the end of the day, here's my thing, right? Man. I'm about to lose. Okay, I'm good. Look, here's my overall point, right? I don't know if there's doom and gloom going on at PlayStation. I really don't, because like I said, we don't know what they're planning. We know that they have definitely some big titles coming soon. My worry is not necessarily about them making money, because at the end of the day, that's not my problem. Like that's not my thing. Like obviously, I want them to do well. Like I want all companies to do well, right? But I also am not going to lower my expectations for a brand because of any money saving tactics that they use. Let me explain, right? I'm not this person who's going to sit here and toe the company line, especially when they're not paying me, right? If I like, for example, there's a certain Xbox YouTuber. I'm not gonna name his name because when he probably doesn't even know I exist, and that's fine. But he's the same guy who parried around about while he's praising that dog shit ass game on Crackdown 3, talking about how a game like Death Stranding is not fun, it's garbage, this and that, right? And then once the rumors start about Kojima. Once the rumors about Kojima joining Xbox became a thing, he's like, oh, Death Stranding has always been a good game. Like, I'm not that type of person. That's not who I am. I'm not gonna sit here and accept any bullshit coming from Sony. Like, I'm not, because at the end of the day, like they're not paying my wages, right? Maybe Microsoft is paying this YouTuber's wages, but Sony's not paying mine. So if they're doing something that I don't like, even though they're profiting off of it, I'm not gonna give a shit, because at the end of the day, all I care about is my enjoyment, right? And if you're making moves that is going to hinder my enjoyment, then I have to move on. I gotta go. Like I gotta put my money elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how it is. That's how life is. Oh shit, I fucked up. That's just how life is. You know what I mean? I can't be loyal to a brand, like, ever. I'll have favorites, but I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, I have to buy this because I have to. Like, no. No. If iPhone made a good phone, then I would buy an iPhone. You know what I mean? Like if Nintendo made a console that I actually give a shit about, I would buy one. I would absolutely buy Nintendo. And you know, people know, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know my history with Nintendo is not great. Especially over the past, you know, I'll probably say 20-25 years. But like I said, if Nintendo made something good, I'll buy it. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, same thing with Microsoft. If Microsoft, like, I bought the Xbox, for fuck's sake. And frankly, it was a disappointment at first, but you know, with Gamepass, it's been better. You know what I mean? Like, it's been better. So, and once I get it back, you know, I'll definitely use it more. But when it comes to like brand loyalty, like, no, like I'm not for that. I'm not for that. And some of the people's opinions on this subject is based solely on brand loyalty. Either they don't care, or is this brand loyalty. And I'm not someone who works that way. This has never been my it has never been my MO. At least when I've, you know, grown up. You know what I mean? Like, as you grow older, you grow wiser. That's not my MO. But I prefer, if the company's gonna make moves, it has to be to my best interest. And if you're not, then you know, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to you know, invest in my best interest and what I like, then I can't be in favor of it. I can't buy into your brand, basically. So, like I said, with the article, like I said, like, I think some of the stuff that went on in that article is troubling, right? I think some of it is a bit overblown, but like, you can't look at what's going on in the last couple months and not be at least a little bit worried. You know what I mean, about what's going on over at PlayStation, right? But at the end of the day, if they don't care, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is, man. Like, I can't be worried about what goes on at a multi-million-dollar corporation. I can't. Either you make the games I want to make, or I want to buy, or I move on, right? So, like I said, like, you know, before I go, am I going to buy a PS5? I mean, if it's there, then I guess I'll buy it. But like I said, I'm not going to go. I'll revert back to my original stance, right? If it's at the store, or if I can get it at market value, I'll buy it. But if it's like above market value, I'm not wasting my money on that. And if it's something that you know, if I feel like buying it, I'll buy it. But when it's there and I don't feel like buying it, I'm not gonna buy it, because I need something to motivate me to buy the system. I need something to motivate me. I need like a game or something to motivate me to buy it, right? Because so far, the vast majority of games I want to play on it, I can play on my PS4. And a little bit, I've been holding off a little bit on some of the games, like Spider-Man, Miles Morales. I want to play Miles Morales so bad, but I want to play on the PS5, right? Like, I want to experience that game on the PS5. I think the Guilty Gear I'm gonna buy no matter what, right? I don't think the experience is gonna be that much different. It's not gonna be that much different. But Horizon New Dawn, I want to play that on the next generation system. You know what I mean? Like, I want to play it on the PS5, right? And I'm sure there's other games too. You know, if God of War comes out on PS4 and PS5, I would prefer to play on PS5. So yeah, so if I see it, I'll buy it. If not, then you know it is what it is. But anyway, this is Super 186. I'm out. You know, okay. Before I go, let me say this, right? Like, honest to goodness, I really like the Call of Duty Modern Warfare, right? The remake to Modern Warfare, not the remake, but the Modern Warfare, right? The Call of Duty game that came out last year, right? It's my favorite. It's by far my favorite Call of Duty game to come out in years. But I swear to God, the one thing that pisses me off about this game is that the game has these big ass updates, and the game is always copying something. Like, I don't understand. Like, the whole copying thing that's going on with the PS4 is dog shit to begin with. But then I'm done. Then I mean, this game is always fucking copying something. Like, I was like, this gameplay was supposed to be Call of Duty, but the fucking game was copying, and like, I had to wait, so I just popped this in. I just put this in. So, and my little rant about that. But other than that, I'm out. Thank you guys for watching. Please comment, subscribe, share, and I'm out. Peace.